Hey guys, happy new year. It has been a hot minute since I uploaded a video. I think it's been at least 2 or 3 weeks, so soz about that. But I am back and ready to get into it. So today we are starting off with a tutorial using my favorite products of 2017. I know we're like 3 weeks into the new year already, but I still want to do this video. I have a mix of drugstore and high-end products to show you. So if you want to see my picks, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it and keep on watching. Alright, so starting out with primer, you're probably going to be able to guess. You're probably going to be able to guess nearly everything I'm going to mention today. But anyway, my pick of the year is the Stila One Step Correct Primer. So this one is a skin tone correcting and brightening serum. And as you can see, it's got the 3 different colors. The green is for redness, the peach is for dark circles, and the lavender is for swallowness. I find this does a really good job at helping to even out my skin tone. As you can see, I do have a lot of redness, so the green really helps. The green really helps to counteract that. It's also a really nice moisturizing feeling primer. It soaks into the skin immediately and leaves my skin feeling fresh and prepped and ready to go. If you've just got all over redness, that is when a primer like this will be really good. But if you're like me and you do want to go that extra step further, that is when a color correcting palette like this one here by Rimmel really comes in handy. So this here is the Insta Conceal and Correct palette. And as you can see, it comes with the same 3 shades that the primer comes with, except this version you can use it to target the exact spots you need to. When I use this, I like to use a dense brush, something like this. This purple one is by Real Techniques and the black one is by e.l.f. So as I said, I like to cover up this redness, so I'm going in with the green concealer and I'm just going to lightly put that over any really dark spots. Well, not dark spots, red spots. Next, I like to take a little bit of the peach color and I use this under my eyes to help cover up dark circles. Now, I know mine aren't super bad, but this makes the biggest difference. A lot of people think that this step is unnecessary, but because I am so pale, it is harder to cover up the imperfections on my skin. If you're more tanned and you have a red spot, when you cover it up with your foundation, it's covered. But trying to cover up such bright spots with a really white foundation, it's a little bit tricky. So that's when something like this palette really comes in handy. Next is foundation, and my pick of the year is the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation, and this is in the shade Porcelain. I love this foundation because, first of all, it's a nice pale shade available at the drugstore. Second of all, it has amazing coverage and it feels so lightweight on the skin. I do around 2 layers and it feels like there is barely anything on my skin. And thirdly, it is super long lasting. I wear this on my really long days at work and it lasts the whole day and it still looks flawless by the time I get home. I like to use a kabuki style foundation brush to blend this out, and then I go over it with my beauty blender once I'm done to get rid of any streak marks left from the brush. Next is my favorite concealer, and do I even have to tell you? Like, duh. Of course, it's the Shape Tape. So I have the shade Fair Neutral, and this color is perfect for me. This concealer is super full coverage, so if you're not into that, I would suggest you stay away. But if full coverage is your thing, then you need to get onto this, especially because the shade range is so amazing. Like, look how light this is. It's just amazing, and it leaves my under eyes looking so flawless. Like, literally flawless. Next is a setting powder, and I bet you all think I'm gonna say Rimmel Stay Matte, but I'm not, okay? Another Rimmel powder has stolen my heart in 2017, and it is the Insta Fix and Matte Translucent Powder. So this here is a pure white translucent setting powder, and it is just amazing, okay? It is so lightweight on the skin, it barely feels like you've got anything on your face. I go through setting powders like crazy, so I love that this is an affordable option because it doesn't cost me a lot when I use it every single damn day. So I just like to go in with a smaller brush first and set my eyes. And then I go in with a bigger fluffy brush to lightly set the rest of my face. Next, I'm going to do my brows, and my two favorite brow products of the year are both by NYX. And the first one is the Eyebrow Cake Powder, and this is in the shade Light. So this one comes with a lighter powder, a darker powder, and a setting wax. To be honest, I've never used this. I'm just about the powders. And then I have the NYX Eyebrow Mascara, also in the shade Blonde. All right, so just brush me brows out first, give them a little groom. So first of all, I dip into the lighter shade here, and I use this for the front of my brow. So I start at the front on the bottom and draw a line underneath. I also like to have the line of the very front of my brow kind of on an angle. If I do it straight, I look a bit crazy. I find it looks a lot better if I have this line on a slight angle. I then use whatever's left on the brush and brush that upwards into my brow hairs. Then I dip into the darker shade for the tail end of my brow, and I start where I left off at the arch and just draw that line out. And then still with the dark powder, I'll go to the top of my brow and finish drawing on the arch and the tail. And then fill that in with the dark powder. And then I go back in with a tiny bit of the light powder to fix up the front top of the brow. Just straighten that up and blend it into the rest. And then grab your spoolie and brush it through. And then I go in with the brow mascara and I brush my brows up to set them in place. Usually I like brow mascaras with smaller wands. As you can see, this one is quite large, but the formula is quite dry, so it's not pulling out a ton of product and just soaking your brow. It pulls out just the right amount that you can brush it through without it becoming messy, and it sets everything in place, and it tints any of my blonde brow hairs that are peeping through. Next is bronzer to add a bit of life back into my skin, and I have two favorites I want to show you. The first one is the Becca Sunlit bronzer in the shade Bali Sands. This baby is just, it's expensive, but it's worth the price. It's a really nice cool toned pale bronzer, and it has a slight little sheen through it. It doesn't leave your cheeks looking super shimmery, but it just leaves them with a bit of like a summer glow. And then next is the Benefit Hoola Lite. Now this one is a matte bronzer, and if you are paler than me, then this is the one to go for. This is super, super light. I think a lot of people could actually just use this as a face powder, but for us white girls, it's a bronzer. So this is what they look like side by side. As you can see, the Hoola Lite is super, super light. If you're new to bronzing and you want something really light that you can kind of just test the waters with, then I definitely go with the Benefit Hoola Lite. If you're just looking to expand your bronzer collection, I would definitely recommend the Becca Sunlit bronzer. It is just, it's beautiful. So I've just gone in with a little bit, and this is the side without bronzer, and this is the side with. So you can just see that it gives a really nice warmth to the skin, adds a little bit of shape and definition, makes me look a bit more alive, but without looking orange. That is key here when it comes to bronzing, okay? I don't want to be looking orange. Both these bronzers are also really buildable, so you can layer them on to build up the depth of color. Next is blush, and I'm not really one for trying out new blushes. They don't really excite me that much. So the one that I have just been using all the time is the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This is just a really nice coral color, and it has a gold sheen through it. There we go. These kind of peachy shades I find work really well on my pale skin, and so I've got a few in my collection. I just don't feel like I need any more, so this is my go-to. Alright, time for my favorite highlighters of the year, and I have one drugstore and one high-end. I'll start with the drugstore. This is from the brand Model's Own, and it was only released in Australia in the last quarter of the year, I would say. So this is the Sculpt and Glow Highlight Powder in the shade Peach Pearl, and it's a really beautiful pink toned highlighter. Usually I find drugstore highlighters to be super chalky, and they don't blend into the skin. They kind of just sit on top and they look like a bright streak. It's not a good look. But this highlighter, the drugstore's done it for me. I'm done. I'm happy. It is so smooth and almost creamy to touch, and it blends into the skin beautifully. If you're after a highlighter from the drugstore, I definitely recommend these ones. I think there's the pinky shade that I have, and there's also like a golden shade, so check them out. And then my favorite highlighter from the high-end category is the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlighter, and I have the shade Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. So this is what it looks like. It's a split pan, and one of the highlighters, which one is it? This one here, Lightning Dust, is more subtle, and this one here, Fire Crystal, is poppin', okay? It's poppin'. This one here is the Model's Own, so just ignore that. This here, if you focus on my hand, is the more subtle one. You can probably barely see it. And then this here is the brighter highlighter. You can't really see them, but they're not as pink as the Model's Own. They're a bit more champagne, and that is my favorite tone when it comes to a highlighter. It's just the perfect shade for pale skin, and I love that you get the option of a more subtle and then a more bright highlighter. I like to use the brighter one, Fire Crystal, for my cheekbones. And then I like to use the more subtle one for my Cupid's bow, and just down the bridge of my nose slightly. That is it for the face. I'm going to move on to the eyes now, and my favorite eyeshadow palette would have to be the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. Just the packaging alone, like, oh. The shades in this palette, they just speak to me, like they're just calling my name. This is quite expensive in Australia. It was like $90 or some shit, but it's definitely worth it. I find the shadows work really well. They blend easily. They're not muddy or chalky at all. The color palette is just... These shimmer shades here, they're like eyeshadow toppers, and they're really unique shades. I don't have anything like that in my collection. So I'm just starting out with this shade here, and I'm putting that all through my crease. Next, I'm going in with the shade Eden, and I'm going to deepen up the crease. Then I'm taking this bright orange shade called Blazing, and I'm going to put this on the outer V and also run it through the crease, but not taking it as high as I did with the shade that's already there. Next, I'm taking the purple shade called Amethyst, and this is going straight onto the lid. And then taking this shade here called Saffron, and I'm going to put this in the outer V just to help blend those colors together. And then for my lower lash line, I've already put a little dusting of the shade Eden, and now I'm going to take the bright orange shade Blazing and deepen that up. For eyeliner, I don't really have a favorite. I'm still on the hunt for a really, really good transfer proof pencil eyeliner that I can use in my tight line and it won't transfer down onto my waterline. But for the time being, I've just been using this one by NYX. And then for mascaras, I have two by Maybelline. The first one is the Colossal Volume Express. I did use up my first tube and I'm trying to get through a few others first before I open this one. But the wand on this is super big and fluffy. It pulls out just the right amount of product. It's not too wet, and I really like the way it separates and lengthens my lashes. And then next is a recent find, and this one is the Colossal Big Shot. The bristles on this one aren't as long and like far apart as this mascara, but it still does such a great job at coating my lashes and lengthening them. I love it. And then when it comes to fake lashes, my favorites have both been brands from the drugstore. The first one are a few lashes from Ardell. These ones here are the Demi Wispies, and I'm sure you've heard of them. For me, these are a really nice natural lash, something that isn't too glamorous, but it just adds some volume and a little bit of length. And then these ones here are the Glamour Wispies. As you can see, they're not really full, but they do have a really nice amount of length to them. So that is what makes them look a bit more glamorous than the Demi Wispies. Here's what they look like side by side. The band on the Ardell lashes is also super thin, so they're really easy to apply and they don't feel heavy on the eyes. They don't irritate my eyes at all either, which I really like. And then next I have two pairs from Glam by Manicare, and these lashes are a lot more full on and glamorous. So the band on these ones are a lot thicker, so they can feel a little bit heavy on the eyes, But if you want your eyes just to pop and you want to look super glamorous, these are a great affordable option. They're really luxurious, they feel really nice, they don't look fake at all, they look like high-end lashes. Today I'm going to use the Ardell Glamour Wispies. Alright, I just finished off the eyes by putting on a little mascara on my lower lash line and highlighting my inner corner and brow bone with the Fenty Beauty highlighter. Now I'm going to let you know my favorite lipsticks of the year. Firstly, these would have to be my all-time favorite liquid lipsticks ever. And they are the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Liquid Lipsticks. So I picked up a little mini 4-pack a while ago and oh my god, they are just so comfortable on the lips. They are so lightweight. You can build them up so easily, and if you go and eat and a little bit comes off in the middle, you can just reapply it and it doesn't go all heavy and thick and cracky. It just reapplies like new. I have 4 shades here and they are all in the brown category. I do really want to try some of the nude shades, so that'll be on my to buy list this year. Next is my second favorite liquid lipstick formulation ever, and that is the liquid lipsticks by Lestage. These ones again are just so damn comfortable. Both these lipsticks are a really liquidy formula. They're not thick and creamy at all. The reason I love the fact that they are both thin liquids is because you can just apply it and you have time to work with it and work on your lines, and it doesn't get all thick and dry and disgusting. I love the shade range that Lestage offers. They do have a lot of really nice pink and brown nudes, and then they have a few more unique colors in their range. Same kind of thing with the Huda Beauty formula. If you eat and it comes off a little bit, you can just reapply it and it's good as new. They are just so comfortable, so long lasting, and I absolutely love them. And then the next lipstick that I have fallen in love with this year is the Australis Girl Boss Demi Matte Lip Cream. Yes, that's what it's called. So this one here is in the shade Empower, and it's just a really nice nude color. So this is a demi matte lip cream. So it doesn't fully dry down, but the formula of it is just so comfortable on the lips. Because it doesn't dry down, it's not as long lasting as the Huda Beauty or the Lestage lipsticks, but it is just great for everyday kind of wear, and I absolutely love this shade. And then last of all, to complete the look, my favorite setting spray is the Rimmel Insta Fix and Go. This does the best job of setting your makeup in place. It has a really nice cucumber scent and it's affordable. I am so done with my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. Ever since they repackaged it, they must have changed the formula and it stinks. Like, the smell of it is just disgusting, and like, it's so bad I don't want to use it anymore. So I'm very glad that I now have this in my life because that's my favorite. And then I do have one more thing I want to mention, and it is this Mecca Max Power Tool Brush Refresh Mist. So in short terms, it's a brush cleaner. Now, Mecca Maxima is an Australian store, so I don't know if you're able to get this overseas. I know that Sephora does have a similar spray brush cleanser, but I do prefer this one a lot better. This is only $20 and you get 150 mils of product, and how it works is it's kind of like just in between your big cleans. If you just need to dust your brush off a little bit, just grab a little cotton pad, just spray some on. Get your dirty brush and just swirl it in there, like so. Oh, and it cleans your brush. And then it literally takes about a minute to dry and you can use it again. Oh, So definitely one I recommend. Alright, well that is everything. I hope you enjoyed watching today. I feel like this was a bit of a long video, so good on you if you stuck around to the end. I'm really excited for this year. I have a lot of ideas flowing and I can't wait to film and just post videos. So if you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, please subscribe to my channel because I would love to see you around here more. If you have any video requests, then leave them in the comments below. Also, come follow me on Instagram, Snapchat and Twitter. The links will be in the description box, along with a list of the products I mentioned and any other related videos to those products. Alright, that's all from me. I'll see you next time. Bye!